Hello, hello. Welcome to Emotional Eating Decoded. We are so excited about this new vibe, this new feel for the emotional eating group. We really want to support and mentor a lot of people this year, and that's what the big shift is about. Like, we're honing in on our message to really help you and serve you and give you as much value as possible, because more people need to feel good about their emotions, about their food, and about their body. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Hannah Hips, and that is Sierra Spencer. And every Monday night, we do a weekly training, and we want to drop you a lot of information that you can walk away with. And so if you are new, or if you're not new, or if you're on, say hello in the comments, so we can say hi to you, because this is a conversation. As we always say, this is a big conversation. We want you to be a part of it, because the more that you actually participate, the more you get from the training. So just think of that as like absorbing and participating. And it doesn't mean you have to like say a lot, but just say hello would be great and wonderful. All right, so and tonight it's all about, do you recognize the 6 early warning signs of emotional eating? And the reason why we picked this topic, because we know emotional eating has to do with emotions, right? But it's actually a lot more in the background that you might not be aware of. And we wanted to really drop those warning signs of what might cause you to emotionally eat that we might not have thought of before. So Sierra, go ahead and knock those out.
So I want to say hi, Melissa. Thanks for joining us. Again, we would love to say hello. We have some new people that we know are joining us. We want to so when you say hello or say where you're from, we can see your name pop up and we can say hi to you. And if you want to just stay anonymous, that's fine too. But you can like or heart or just give them some comments so we know that you're there.
I'm so excited.
So just say hello, and we're so excited to have you tonight. Maybe hi and where you're from, where you're tuning in from. We have people all over the world in this group, so it's so fun to hear like where people are from. Okay, let's dive in. So like Hannah said, we really wanted to kind of uncover these 6 early warning signs of emotional eating, because I do think they're a little bit not probably what you've heard. So I'm gonna list them out, and then we're gonna dive in deeper into each one of these warning signs. So number 1 is dieting and restricting is a warning sign. Triggers or trauma. Number 3 is avoidance or numbing out. Number 4 is no coping mechanisms. Number 5 is needing control. And number 6, looking outside yourself for validation. And then finally, number 6 is just looking outside yourself for validation. So those are the 6 early warning signs of emotional eating. If you're struggling with any of those things, and again, we're going to dive into those right now.
Yeah, so let's talk about number 1. So dieting or restricting. So if you are wanting to go on a diet, or if you've been on a diet, or if you've been yo-yo dieting from like a young age, there's research that people who diet or restrict are more likely to emotionally eat. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Like, we have willpower, like there's a natural amount of willpower, and it does get depleted. So if you are constantly, restricting your food and holding in, like dieting, and really focusing in on how much food you're eating, what you're eating, and everything else, that takes a lot of energy and a lot of willpower. And so there's going to be a point during the day, most likely a lot of people that we talk to, this happens in the evening, where you're like, the day is done, you ate dinner, you did okay during the day, but you are eating at night. You're eating in front of the TV, you're can't stop snacking, and you just like are eating so much. Well, your willpower is like deplenished, right? So throughout the day, if we're focused on restriction, we're focused on our food so much and dieting, that we don't have enough willpower at the end of the day. That's just a given. And it's not necessarily like you have to do things throughout the day to replenish your willpower, right? And that's kind of like what it is. It's about replenishing your body. So where are you restricting yourself? And it was funny because I was talking to my neighbor yesterday and I was telling her about like what I do and I help people with emotional eating. And she's like, wow, emotional eating, that's like so not a thing for me. And I kind of asked her like, what, why not? She's like, food's never been an issue for her. So she does not go to food to soothe herself. Like she's never really been on a diet. She's um, always been like naturally thin and, it's just, she's never had a thing with it. So you have to recognize if you have been at dieting or restricting yourself, there's a reason why you're doing it. Maybe you didn't like your body. Maybe people told you at a young age that you were getting too big. And so you have all these different layers. And so food has been like this huge part of your life. And so think of the restriction that you've had throughout your life if you've been dieting. No wonder you're going to turn to food for comfort, right? It's whatever we restrict is what we are going to use as a coping strategy. So that is number one.
Awesome. Yes. So huge. Probably, and it's number one for a reason, because again, one of the biggest warning signs that you're going to be emotional eating is if you're dieting or restricting. Um, and from just some of the voting today around our new group name and our group branding, we saw that you guys are really wanting to like the name and to focus on having a better relationship with food. And so we're super excited about that, because that's what we're talking about tonight, is like, how do you have a better relationship with food? And again, number one when it comes to emotional eating is ending that dieting restricting cycle is the number one step to having a better relationship with food as well. All right, so number two, the number two warning sign is if you have like certain triggers, or if you've had past diet trauma. So if you have like, or maybe you have a really hard emotion that you don't like, or someone says something, or you have a really uncomfortable feeling, maybe you're experiencing anxiety or overwhelm or worry or depression, and it's just really uncomfortable feeling that it might drive you to eat because it has in the past. So it's kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like one of those feelings, like right when your body feels that emotion, you feel this drive to eat. And it's almost like a trigger, like it's, it touches an open wound. So one of the things that's going to help with this is to know your triggers. So start paying attention to what seems to trigger me to eat. It's not food. Okay. Like cookies are not a trigger. Restricting cookies is a trigger. Okay. So like food isn't inherently a trigger. So if you think that food's a trigger, I invite you to look a little bit deeper there. Okay. So if someone says, or maybe another thing to look at for like triggers or trauma is stress, right? Like stress, emotional eating, stress drives emotional eating. So where are you stressed? If someone says something to you that kind of brings you back to the past, right? There's something to look for there, because again, triggers and trauma, again, can be a warning sign of emotional eating if you're not learning how to deal with those triggers and trauma in the right way.
Yeah. Brian says stress for sure. And, number three, another warning sign of avoidant is avoidance, numb out, and not ready to feel. And this kind of has a lot to do with triggers. So it's kind of like a piggyback from when you get triggered. There's the sensation, there's an emotion that rises, right? And so what happens when we don't want to feel the feelings because it brings us back to a past experience or trauma or something along those lines, or it's just uncomfortable, right? Something unfamiliar, then we are going to turn to food. And so what food does, it helps numb you, right? And it actually stops the flow of emotions. So I was noticing this for myself the other day. I wasn't exhaling. I was breathing in, but I really wasn't exhaling. And it's because, and I've noticed I do this when I'm feeling really good, I don't exhale because I want to keep that good feeling, right? And if I'm not feeling that good, I don't want to exhale because then I have to feel it. So it's interesting how we don't want to feel a certain thing and we want to stay at like this feeling. Okay, if I just hold my breath, I won't feel this emotion. Or if I just eat this food, I'm not going to feel this emotion. But in order for the emotion to actually move through you and to go and to leave you and to leave your body, we have to allow it to flow. And so that's like, we have to, actually, I'm not going to say we have to, we get to feel all of the sensations. And the part that really stops us and makes more suffering for us is when we attach something to it. We attach something to that emotion or that sensation or that feeling. It's, I'm bad, I'm wrong, this isn't right, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be feeling this way, what's wrong with me? All of those are going to create so much more pain and suffering with that emotion. And I've been practicing this for a while of like taking away the story, moving the attachment of what that sensation or feeling actually means, and just allow yourself to be in it, right? And just allow it just to move through you. And I tell you, it takes practice. This is a muscle that needs to be exercised, of feeling our feelings, because we're not really taught this a whole lot. But once you allow those emotions just to be neutral and allow them to flow through you, those sensations will pass a lot quicker. And I will say, we talk about this in our empowered eating in our circle, that, you know, there's going to be times where you're going to want to eat and feel your emotions at the same time, and that is okay. You know, we're not saying that you can never emotional eat, never use food again to numb yourself out, but there's this practice of being able to feel the feelings and maybe have the comfort of food close by in vicinity or in your mouth, right? Like allowing that process. And that is such a great place to start when you want to start feeling the feelings.
So huge. Yes. You can feel your feelings and eat at the same time. It doesn't have to be either or. That's a good practice at getting out of that all or nothing mentality. All right. So the fourth thing the fourth warning sign that will probably lead you to emotional eating if you're doing is not having coping mechanisms. So when we don't have any other coping mechanisms besides just eating food, we need to work on practicing. We call it diversifying your coping mechanisms in our program. So we help you learn, like, what are some other coping mechanisms that work for you? How can we diversify those? So that, again, food's not your only source of pleasure. And it's not your only source of like stress relief. So we work on how, so that could be something that you make a list, like, how can I diversify my coping mechanisms? But again, I'm going to just warn you, you could have like a 3-page list of all these amazing activities to do besides eating. But if you're still not addressing the diet mentality, your triggers, and some of the other things we're going to talk about today, like having a big list of like, take a warm bath and take a walk, is really not going to help unless you're implementing the other things from our program, the other things that we've given you today as far as tips go.
You know, I was thinking about coping mechanisms. It's like, you got to find what works for you. And, like having that big long list, maybe shortening it just a little bit. But, sometimes you have to try a few things before one actually feels like you get that relief, and I was thinking about this today, being at home. I think we're all at home a lot more. Food is so accessible, right? It's in your kitchen, it's in another room, it's right there. So it's the easy thing to reach for and go to. So think about, like, in your house, or where you could go or what you could do that could help you not necessarily just go straight to the kitchen, but maybe go into a different direction, or create a space in your home that makes you feel good. There's just so many different things that we can do, but it's like we have to break that pattern and that habit in order to do something different. And there's been times, probably you too, Sierra, like when you are headed in the kitchen and you like or open up the fridge and you're reaching for something, you're like, wait, what am I doing? And you close it and you do something else, or you take it what you want and you go somewhere else. So it's like, giving yourself grace, right, about it. So number 5 is the need for control. And the need for control can come in so many different variations. So dieting is a need for control. So we control our food. We have the structure and exactly, this is what I can do. It's like living in a box, right? We try to control other people. We try to control our emotions. We try to control our environment, our body, our eating, everything. So if we are wanting to control anything in our life, and it kind of goes back to the willpower thing, that takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of energy to be so focused on one thing or a lot of things. If you're trying to control a lot of things, that there is going to be a leap. There is going to be a point where you cannot control it. And this is why I think people feel out of control with food, is because we're trying to control too much. And there comes a point where it's just, you just can't control it. And I often heard was like, I get unconscious. It feels like I'm totally unconscious and mindless, and I'm eating, and before I know it, the bag of chips is gone. So you have to really, I think this is probably one of, I think they're all can be hard, but one of the most challenging things is letting go, right? And when we let go, there has to be trust. And when you begin to cultivate that trust, the trust within yourself and the trust of your body, then things can begin to open up, and then you're actually have more control. When you let go of control, you have more control. So just look at the areas of your life that you're trying to control, in all different ways.
So huge. Yeah, that's definitely, Hannah and I were talking about this, I think in our group coaching last week, about how control, like trying to control, was one of the hardest concept that like I feel like took me forever. And I wish I would have had some more guidance on that, and like how to let go of trying to control, because I thought if I let go of control, that like everything would fail. Like I would gain a bunch of weight, that I would just like, I would eat really unhealthy. I was so terrified of letting go of control. And again, like we have a process that helps you walk through letting go of control in a way that feels safe and in control in a way. Right.
It's like an oxymoron.
It is like an oxymoron. But yeah, so huge. That is definitely one of the harder ones, but with the right support, it's absolutely possible. So the last warning sign of emotional eating is looking outside yourself for validation. So this kind of can apply to any area of life that you're struggling in, but this might look like thinking you're addicted to food, or, so like, for example, thinking you're addicted to food in general, or maybe it's sugar, maybe it's fast food, whatever it is, puts you, I'm going to be like, this is kind of like a gentle, harsher coaching. What am I trying to say? I'm going to be a coach here for a minute. Okay. I'm putting my coaching hat on. Okay. This, like, basically looking outside yourself for validation and thinking you're addicted to food puts you into victim mode. When we blame everything or everyone outside of us for our problems, it's really hard for us to actually beat the emotional eating cycle and get out of this cycle, because, again, like love for yourself and your body and wanting to have a better relationship with food needs to come from within you. Right? If you keep looking for answers and keep looking to diets and keep trusting all these other gurus to tell you exactly what you need to eat to lose weight and all these things, it almost feels like you're treating yourself like you're broken, or that you need to be fixed, or you want someone else to fix you. And here's the thing, Hannah and I and our programs, we are not here to fix you, because that would mean that you're broken. And we do not operate from a mentality that anyone is broken. So in case no one told you today, you are not broken and you do not need to be fixed. Now, there are probably barriers in your way, and Hannah and I's, like, we have a design with our programs and with our coaching to like get rid of those barriers so that you can show up as the person you want, with the relationship with food that you want, and with the relationship with your body you want. We want you to be healthy and peaceful. And there's just like a bunch of junk in your way. Okay. But you're not broken. Okay. You don't need to be fixed. Okay, you're not a victim. Now, has there been probably some really traumatic, awful crap that's happened to you in your life around food in your body? Absolutely. And we want you to be free from that, and we want to empower you to live the life that you want when it comes to food in your body. Okay, so you can do this. You can break free from this emotional eating cycle.
It's possible. Me and Sierra have both, like, we've had our struggles, you know, like I was deathly afraid of food. I was afraid that everything I put in my body was going to harm me. I fought my appetite all the time. And, you know, like back to what Sierra said, it was like, you know, if you're looking outside yourself, so what are you looking for? What is food actually providing for you? You know, are you looking outside yourself for love? You know, and food kind of gives you that feeling of love. You know, are you looking for support or anything else outside of you? When you are, it's like we're not broken, like Sierra said. You don't need to be fixed. It's like we just need to remember our power. We need to remember how whole and complete we already are, and all of the things, all of the challenges or traumas, pain that we've had in our lifetime were only meant to evolve us, you know, and we might not even see it that way. I mean, I will be first to admit I lived in victim for a very long time. You know, I was blaming everybody. I was blaming everyone for why I wasn't happy, why I wasn't doing this, why I wasn't doing that. And what I've had to cultivate is more self-love and empowerment and compassion, and like whatever you're looking on the outside for yourself is actually already within you, and you can begin to like bring that up to the surface, so you're providing it for yourself, which then you can receive it from other people more easily, right? And it's just like icing on the cake, pun intended.
So really quick, before we move on, so the warning signs, I just want to recap them really quick. And I want you to reflect right now, if you wouldn't mind, in the comments, just share with us which warning sign with emotional eating that you resonate with the most, or the thing that you want support with, or even the thing that you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. So number one was, warning sign, dieting, restricting. Number two, triggers or trauma. Number three, avoidance or numbing out. Number four, no coping mechanisms, or maybe not enough coping mechanisms. Number five, needing control. And number six, looking outside yourself for validation. So feel free to like comment below which one you feel like you resonated with tonight.
I like what Melissa says. She goes, that's very parallel to living life in the way that's more mindful and open is letting go, living within the natural rhythm and flow of life. That is beautiful, Melissa. And Brian says, I'm not broken. It's more like I need a wheel alignment. Amen. That is awesome. I love that analogy. Brian says 2 and 4. All right. Keep them coming, you guys. We want to know also if this has been valuable for you, if you've gotten some things out of it. And this is what we do. This is what me and Sierra are so passionate about. Like, we live for this, to really heal people's relationship with food. And actually, like, I like to think of like, we're here to help you rewire, decode, release the stress, and find the freedom around food. And we help people just stop feeling out of control, crazy, stressed, emotional, all around food. And so I want you to know that you have the power to take action. And we're always choosing. Everything in our life, we are choosing. So there's sometimes I choose to be a victim. And then there's sometimes I choose to be back in my power. But it's like everything is a choice. And when we realize that, then we're putting the power back in our hands. You know, I remember I was struggling for a while with something, and I was like, I'm choosing this right now. I'm choosing this in my life. And you know what? That brought me so much peace. Even though the circumstance was not the best, it brought me peace because I knew that I was choosing it. So why we do what we do, and that's why we love eating psychology. And tonight's class is all about our eating psychology method. And so there's 3 pillars that we do: eating psychology method, emotional balance technique, and anti-diet strategies. These are the three core principles that we teach on, and we really dive deep in our empowered eating course as well. And this is what makes us do this work is, I don't know, decoding. Decoding, hence the name.
Awesome. So if this has been helpful for you, just feel free, just like let us know, like drop a comment, just say, yes, this has been helpful, or just yes, just so we can get some feedback if you feel like so far this has been helpful for you. Because really we want to help you go from feeling crazy around food, again, feeling helpless around food, wanting a better relationship with food. We want you to go from that place to freedom and peace around food. So, but here's the problem we see is, like, for example, our client Katie, she was really struggling with not having control over what she ate. She was in a constant fight with food, constantly worried about gaining weight. And she was really scared to try a new way of looking at food. Then she joined our empowered eating inner circle, and her problems with food improved tremendously. So she's already so much happier, so much healthier, and just like feeling like it's almost like this whole new energy has taken over her. So how many of you want to solve this problem once and for all and finally have your own freedom and peace and self-control back? How many of you are ready to finally end the fight and just eat normal and feel good and healthy? So comment yes if this is you.
Yeah, we had someone, Kara says she's going to watch this over and over again. Awesome. So we just want to spend a few minutes talking about what we do. And we are like who we are and what we have, and just extend an invitation to you to work with us directly and potentially have us help you dial in on this challenge. So me and Sierra are coaches. We coach folks on how to feel empowered around food and decode emotional eating. How many days are going to go? How many days are going to go of like with this struggle with overeating too much and eating too much sugar, binge eating, numbing out with food, sneaking and hiding chocolate and chips, and not knowing how to handle your emotions and just feeling like crap? How many days are continue to go by like that? And how do you sleep with this constant over your head? How do you sleep with this constant food noise in your head? I know Sierra was talking about how that like she couldn't sleep very good because she was constantly thinking about food. And it's like you need peace to survive and thrive.
Yes.
So again, we are coaches and we help people create peace and how to trust their bodies and how to and we have a system for emotional eating and to help themselves be more in control. And we're really good at this. We've helped so many people. And it's like we have a methodology we've perfected over the last couple of years. Really in 2020, we like honed in on this and got down to the science. And Elizabeth, one of our other clients, started out with us and she was ashamed of her body. She was tired of dieting and having food rules, to now having a more positive outlook on food and her body. She appreciates herself more, being in the process of the journey with acceptance and feeling much more at peace and free. We talk to people on a daily basis, and we talk about where they're now and where they want to go. And people just want to be happy and feel good and be healthy. And we are excited to see the transformation for you as well.
Absolutely. So again, Hannah and I, we specialize in this. This is our job. This is our full-time job. I'm still, sometimes that shocks me a little bit that I get to do this work. But, we specialize in helping people decode emotional eating and have a framework in place for their eating in their life that actually inspires them and lights them up. We plug you into our methodology to help you with your emotional eating and regain confidence. So we teach you this framework step by step. And there's a lot that happens behind the scenes in our coaching programs that you can't see as well. So you guys, it is so time to solve this once and for all.
Yes, it is. We can't go another day. Like literally, how many days can we keep going by living the same day over and over again? It's like Groundhog Day, right? It's like the cycle just keeps coming and coming and coming. We got to break that cycle. And if like you're watching this and you would like our help, we have a coaching program where we teach all of this to you. And we aren't going to get into all the details right now on this live. It's not about that tonight, but we just want to invite you into learning a little bit more about what we do and how we can help people. But we want you to have peace and freedom with food. And if you'd like to see what our programs are about and how we might be able to help you, comment free below and there's better details. Hold on. So if you comment free, as soon as you comment, me or Sierra will reach out to you and we will just kind of get an idea of where you're at. And then we will hop on a 15-minute call with you. And this 15-minute call, I'm telling you, is no sales whatsoever. It is pure value to give you some homework, some pointers to actually begin to see where you are and where you can go and see like how, like it's like almost trying on our methodology and our program of like the strategies and principles. So this first 15-minute call is absolutely free, pure value. And then on that call, if you feel like this is a good fit and you want to go deeper and talk about the program, we'll do a full call, which will actually get into more details about what the program's all about, a little bit more details in depth of like where you're struggling and how we can really help you. And then from there, you get to choose. You get to choose and decide on what's going to really work for you. So if you guys want to have like any kind of like, yes, I am ready. I want a new way of looking at food. I want to improve my relationship with food. Just type in free and me and Sarah will reach out to you and we'll just have like this nice process to go through. And it's just easy and fun. And we'll just see if it's a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, we want you to get a good night's sleep. Like being in this emotional eating diet crazy cycle where you're constantly thinking about food is exhausting and it's such a just not a fun place to be. Again, I used to like go to bed thinking about food and wake up thinking about food like constantly, like what I was going to eat next, what I was going to wear. Just it was constant. And so again, we want you to have freedom. We want you to have a better relationship with food and your body. So again, thank you so much for those who have commented already and reached out. We are here to help and serve you. That's what we're here for. And remember, there's absolutely no selling. There's just a 15-minute game plan call. We're going to give you homework, additional training, like Hannah said. We're going to go through what it's like to work with us. So, yay. We're so excited. I know Melissa has just said, I can attest to this. Melissa is one of our clients right now. Thank you, Melissa. She says, I'm very close to going lingerie shopping. Sorry if that's TMI, but I would have never entertained that thought before. That is so
huge.
Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine, like, our program it's only been a few weeks since Melissa joined and like, that's just so huge. So thank you for sharing that, Melissa, because it's not the lingerie necessarily. It's the confidence that like, it's not like her body has like changed, right? Like she's just, it's like your whole way of being around your body and yourself and your own self-confidence just shifts. Okay. She would not be where she is today had it not been for our framework. And, you know, our framework that we teach is groundbreaking in the health and diet industry. Okay, so if you choose to do our programs and go through our methodology, we are some of the best and we're helping hundreds of people.
Yeah, and you know, it's really about changing your perspective. Like when we begin to change our perspective on things, then everything else begins to shift. And that's what eating psychology is about, and mind body nutrition. The things that we teach is like we teach like how to eat and who's showing up and what are your beliefs about food and who are you, right? It's like food is half the story, you are the other half. And when you combine both of them, magic can actually happen. Big transformations can happen. And that's what we're here for. And that's what this group is here for. Like, we are here to decode emotional eating, to give you the freedom, to give you the tips, the tools to actually start implementing in your life so you can create a better relationship with food, create a better relationship with yourself and your body, because we got a life to live, right? Like, who would we be? What would we be able to accomplish if this food, emotional eating, stress eating, binging was not a thing? How much time, how much mind space is it taking up? And like, how much free time would you have to actually do the things that you want to do, to feel confident in the things that you want to do, like have the job that you actually want, to wear the clothes you want? Like, there's so much at play. And what our program does and what this group does is just help you change your perspective on food and give you a whole new outlook, because it's important. We have been programmed to think a certain way, eat less, exercise more, eat this, not that. Like, what if we said, forget all that and just did something different that's more in line with you as the eater? You know your body more than anybody else. And when you take that power back and you decide for yourself, and you are friends with your body, and you're friends with your hunger, and you're friends with food, then everything can change for you. It changed for me. Like, I will tell you, food was like the gateway to a new life for me. When I started working with my food and doing eating psychology and seeing it completely different, it has completely changed my life in so many positive ways. And I'm sure Sierra's the same way. It's like, it's powerful. And, I think it's like we talk about destigmatizing the charge of emotional eating and the charge of food. It doesn't have to be hard and challenging. I think that's like, and stressful. And we've allowed it to be that way for too long. And me and Sierra are here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. And we walk you through that. And we're here to guide you and be your friend, be your coach, be your cheerleader, mentor, whatever you need. I love all the comments that everyone has been putting in and the posts in the group. I love cheering you on. I love the conversations that I've been having in Messenger and cheering you on, because all the little adjustments that you guys have been doing. Like, we get messages on a daily basis of like, oh my God, this has worked. I'm doing this now. And that warms our heart. And it's like these small little steps that you do that begin to transform your life. And when one thing starts to click and work a little bit, then you can add another thing. And then before you know it, you're in a different place than you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. But it all starts with this moment right now. So yeah, that's my little pep talk.
Yay. All right. So comment below, free. Like, I want to be free of this. Okay. So comment below, free. Hannah and I will reach out to you, and we'll just have a conversation via Messenger. Like you said, we are in Messenger pretty much, I feel like, every day. Like, just
Yeah.
like, we love this. Again, this is our job. We love talking with you guys. You're our people. We want to be like a family in here. So thank you guys so much for everyone that's on live. Thank you so much for watching live. If you're watching the replay, type replay in the comments. And if you have any questions, feel free to answer, type in the comments. You can tag Hannah or I, and we'll make sure we answer any questions if you have any. But thank you guys so much, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye.
Bye.